Microphones working, headphones working, sound check everybody. Can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo! Hell yeah.
Apparently I can't. Good. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to... We'll work on that. Hi, everyone. Welcome to... Thank you, KP Dubs. I was just telling a story to all the lovely Plus members who've signed up on Patreon who are not watching the ad break at the moment. Oh, no, wait, that's separate. That's subbing. So maybe they are, but they don't matter because we're all in a video chat call together right now. We just had a little powwow half an hour before the show started. It's why we're running late. We had stories. There's a new member as well. But I was telling a story about what happened in New York, and KP Dubs has gifted a wonderfully generous donation for dry cleaning because I interviewed M. Night Shyamalan with a lipstick smear on my nipple, on my right, and it just and it was the color. It was horrible to realize that is what I had done, and it's the kind of thing. It's like, food in the teeth. No one's going to say anything. What can you say? You got a little something. Oops, I was looking right at your chest and noted, you just can't. You can't. So, Wicked Maddie says, was it for his new? I don't think I said that clearly. I'll try again. Wicked Maddie said, was it for his new film, The Trap? It sure was. It sure was. August 2nd for that one. Josh Hartnett was fantastic. I'm not allowed to say anything yet.
So glad Josh Hartnett is doing movies again. He's so good.
Oh, he's just so into film as well. He was really, really fun to interview. I talked about... No, I'm actually going to mute, and I'm only going to tell... I'm only going to tell the Members Plus. If you want to sign up to be a Members Plus and get all the tea for that one, never a better time than right now. Patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. I'll give you all the tea for that one. Toasted Post has resubscribed for 34 months in a row, and Catch22 has dropped an incredible donation. A cheeky 100, 12 days after Vaden did the same thing. Thank you so much for being spectacular members of the community. Really appreciate you. And it's worth mentioning, Catch is also in the #1 spot for the subs. Gifted subs in the channel.
That's my
Heads
spot.
and shoulders. Heads and shoulders. He's on the throne. He's sitting on the throne, which is made of gold. It's made of gold and credit debt. But it's very comfortable sitting on it, and I appreciate it. Steph has just subscribed using Prime. That is 6 months there. Steph, that's you in Members Plus now. I would love to introduce you to everyone watching. Steph, tell us a little bit about yourself. Hi. I'd love to hear from you and what... Oh, is this our first live fumble? Should we keep doing it? Or should I let you speak? I'll let you speak.
Sorry. I was just going to say I'm a little bit like camera shy or whatever, Twitch shy,
You're
if you will.
crushing it. Everyone, where's rounds of applauses? Okay, everyone physically did it. We have the button. But I love that everyone literally physically started clapping in the chat. That's how supportive we are here, Steph. You can't do anything wrong. Now, you discovered Maude's Book Club. Okay. You discovered Maude's Book Club from what series that we've been covering?
Red Rising, Pierce Brown.
Favorite Red Rising book?
First one, I think.
Red Rising's the best one.
Yeah, I like
When
it.
did you first read that one?
Like it when it originally came out. When was that? 10 years ago? 15 years ago?
Yeah, a while. Who's your favorite character?
You're putting me on the spot now.
I did say I was going to do that.
No, I'm not going to say anything.
Who's
can't choose, sorry.
chapters do you find yourself enjoying reading?
Like in Red Rising, you mean?
Yeah.
No. I can't choose favorites. I'm sorry.
No, fair. And honestly, being told no, I'm a big fan of it. You keep it up. She won't be pressured by me. I've met my match.
Nope.
I love it. True Scorn says, Maude got noped. Red Rising came out, says Vaden in the chat, January 28th, 2014. What was everyone doing in January of 2014? Who wants to go first?
I was in college.
I have trouble remembering what I was doing last week.
Golly. I could probably tell you what you were doing last week. K Frito was sleeping.
I was in college. I was probably taking linear algebra or something.
Maddie said I was in the 8th grade. I'm going to need...
Oh my God.
Yeah, I need a moment. That
Hold
one...
on, I gotta pour a drink.
Oh, that one hurt me.
I was teaching 8th grade.
Same. 2014. Darren was moving to Canada. I was celebrating my 1 year in LA around that time. Maddie is cackling over here. Laugh it up, fuzzball. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I feel like I got gut punched. Toast Poster says I'm starting up my WoW account for the 3rd time. Oh, there's another intervention we need for that one. KB Dubs was, I was finalizing my divorce. Round of applause. I feel like that's sometimes worth a celebration. Everyone, you're doing it again. we just spoke about it. Is it because I do it and then that okay, yeah, that's misleading. I was probably at one of my girls' figure skating shows. Oh, so cute. I was going to college, but I was recovering from my 2nd bout of cancer, says Jimmy. Oh, you've had a slog, let me tell you that. But glad you're here. Glad it's all going well. Did you ever finish college?
Yes, I did, Maude.
Oh, well, you're better than me then. Psych, I didn't even start. Okay, cool. We're talking about Mirrored Heavens, everyone. Mirrored Heavens by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is book 3 in the Between Earth and Sky saga. You were there for 6 years, KP Dubs? You did college for 6 years and didn't finish. What were you studying?
I don't know. Started as physics, and it was chemistry, then it was statistics, and it was I don't want to do any of these things, so yeah.
You're studying the art of the pun.
The what?
You're studying the art of the pun.
Yeah, you can't study that at college, but if you could, you'd have a master's.
You can't go back, but if you could, I'd probably try to get into sports broadcasting or something.
Oh, you'd be great at that.
Talk professionally. It seems like an easy thing to do.
The way that he and then muted again, knowing that I was probably going to chew him out, being like, hey, if just because some of us make it look easy, it's a testament to us. Thank you very much. Colleen says, I was teaching 8th grade in a small rural community. Vanessa's here. Hi, Pogs. Says, I was in college for 6 years. They basically kicked me out because I had too many units. Lol. Oh, we've got an overachiever. That is a good way to do it. I was too into college. I'm sure you got every job afterwards.
I basically had 8 years of college, technically speaking.
Was that the equivalent of getting a medical degree?
No, because I only ended up with a bachelor's. I kind of screwed myself. That's why, but I guess it was 7 years.
Hold on, I have to line up the sound effect when I'm going into this. I've only ended up with bachelor's too. Cool. I'll be here all week.
I mean,
Jimmy,
I'm still a bachelor, so it works.
I got the thumbs up from Jimmy, who's the comedian here. So yay. There's a couple of journalists in here. True Scorn says I took journalism classes till they axed it for public relations. Maddie took a journalism course as well. ISnoreToo. Wait. So hold on. ISnoreToo. When you make me read out your username, it sounds like I'm confessing. I don't. I have an app that records sounds. So I know for an actual fact I don't snore. It does pick up little Zelda's snores sometimes, but oh my god, it's the cutest thing. It should just be like, oh my god, so
Are you sure? Are you sure they're Zeldas?
Well, unless I have dog-sized lungs with short little breaths.
Just saying.
I feel like, is there a dig in there? Could there be a dig? I don't think there's
Absolutely
a dig in there.
not. I would never throw shade your way, Maude.
Thank
ever.
you. Maddie also in all caps, so I want to make sure it's read with the enthusiasm that it requires. They axed ours for game design and esport management. Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one because journalism and then game design and esport management, they're like not. If there's a Venn diagram, they may be kissing, but like that does not make sense. All caps warranted for that. Vaden says, I took classes in art, even though I had no visual art skills for some reason. I didn't finish my degree. But hey, Vaden, at least you tried. Sometimes you just need to know when you're bad at something. It's like, am I? And it's like, yes. And you're like, I'm glad I paid money to know. That's always fun.
My high school French teacher always said, half of being smart is knowing what you're dumb at.
True. I like that. Yeah, because everyone would be like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I'm like, I know what I don't want to do. Let's start there, shall we? That's an easier question to answer. Colleen said it took me about 7 years, but party of that time. I think you meant to say part of that time, but because you were such a rager in college, you couldn't help but write party of that time. I know what's happening there, Colleen. Your fingers don't lie when you are typing your sentences. Party of that time, I was living on a commune in Israel and backpacking through Europe. What's the bet she's got some saucy stories from that time too? Hashtag Colleen's got stories. Hashtag Maude doesn't snore. We can finally drop that. Katie says, I was in college. I haven't left. What? Katie, what? Katie, what?
I work at a university. That's my full-time job.
You liked it so much you never left.
Yeah, I love sign language interpreting college. So that's my favorite. That's my jam.
That is so cool. Lisa says, I'm pretty sure that in January of 2014, I was sick in bed with the flu, hiding in my room so I didn't get my roommate's newborn baby sick. Whoa, that is such a specific core memory from January of 2014. Woo! That's like a superpower. Well done. KPW says, oh, go.
I was going to say she gave birth and brought her home, and like 3 days later, I was in bed with the flu, and so I had to quarantine for a while.
Whoa. Yeah, there's non-negotiable. There's no wiggle room at all. Also, living with a newborn. Sleep what? Sleep when? Sleep how? I wish I was able to keep my job at my college, says Maddie. That's a little too wistful for someone who was in the 8th grade 10 years ago. You gotta earn nostalgia, Maddie. Like, that comes with age. Has anyone seen Inside Out 2 when nostalgia keeps trying to pop out the door and they got to push her back in, being like, not yet. She gave me a sad face. Just wait until you get older and you'll be like, man, I remember that one time when Maude was like, you're too young. I wish I was back there now. We are talking about, go on. I got nixed. I got the absolutely near. Alrighty, we're talking about Mirrored Heavens here. A lot happens in the second half of this book. A lot also doesn't happen. I'm going to say it. I actually wonder, my current score of 4, it could go down, it could go up, depending on this conversation that I have with all of you. No pressure. The power is yours. Maddie doesn't know what that quote's from because she wasn't born when the show came out. But for all my millennials, Captain Planet, what's up? 5 rings of power, create the man who's going to solve pollution. He was like the original poster child for climate change. What happened?
College humor. College Humor ruined Captain Planet for me because they did that skit where it's like, I'll turn you into a fucking tree.
Yeah, that was funny or die. It was
Dude,
hilarious.
was it funny or die? Dude,
yeah.
that shit
With Don
cracked
Cheadle.
me up. I had Don Cheadle. It was so good. But it ruined Captain Planet for me forever.
Put it in the show chat. You started it. It's got to be finished now. KP Dove says a 22-year-old was at work complaining about their back, and 5 of us were just like, and I'm picturing in unison, just like, shut up. I was talking to someone who was in their early 30s, and I was like, until you sneeze and rupture a disc in your back, I don't want to hear it. That is not a superpower. ISnoreToo says, I'm too old for Captain Planet. But seriously, hot? I love it. I've got no stake in this fight, but let me tell you what hill I'm going to die on. Hell yeah, ISnoreToo, you can stay. All right. I would like for everyone to go around, and if you're in the chat, I want to hear from you if you've read the book. What did you give this book out of 5? We are 20 minutes into the show already. You know that if I'm stalling, it's because I don't want to talk about it, but what is everyone giving this book out of 5? I'm going to read them out in the comments. Who's going first in the chat? Who's going first in the vids? Who's got a hand up for me? Oh, Tim, I feel like was first. We'll go Tim, Vaden, Darian, Commit. Okay, great. Tim.
I want to say I was at like a 4.5 with the first half of the book, and I might be down to like 3 3/4 at this point. I did not like the second half of this book as much. Okay. Well, I should say I did not like the last 5 chapters.
Okay. All right. Vaden?
Okay. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. I love the book overall. Like, the characters were really interesting to me, like the morally grayness of them, the way they, you never really knew for sure who was side, who was on, like how they kind of interact with each other, and a lot of them were hostile to each other, but then they kind of worked things out. There's a lot of interesting romances that came about, especially with Sarabia and Shiela. Yeah. But I think overall, I love the setting, love the world building in general, and I really it had a regular resolution to a lot of things. I think, and the only problem was the ending. I think what was the deal with the whole Godhead thing? Like, we didn't learn what was going on there. Like, they go to the social tower, and then they figure out, hey, the word that the guy's looking for, Balaam, is ambition, and then nothing. Yeah. And just everyone ignores that. Like, okay.
Yeah. We will absolutely be talking about the last few chapters of this, but why am I so cold? Great. Yeah. Vanessa saying, I have to go with a 3. I did not need Balaam to become a main character. The ending was rushed. Facts. Lisa saying, I think I'm at a 3.5. Toaster Post says 3.5 out of 5. My lowest score is not because of the book. I need to re-listen to these books in one go. I was so lost. I agree. It is a little bit hard jumping in the third of a book when we first started that like a year ago. So that's a little bit tricky. Robin, you said 4.25.
Yeah, I felt like there was some pacing issues. Like the ending felt really rushed compared to the entirety of the rest of the book. Felt like a slog.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed it.
Yep. Still enjoyed it. Fiddle Funhole says, a bit late, Well, lovely to have you here. I said the full name. God damn it. Baden says, even though the ending wasn't great, I did like how most of the character arcs were resolved. I didn't. And I'm going to say one thing that will ruin it for you. Katie, 3 stars? So that's a technique that I have. Yeah. I won't ask a question. I'll just blurt and make it sound like a question. And all that's doing is I'm passing it to you now. So Katie, 3 stars?
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy the ending, and I just felt super rushed and wait, now everybody's dead? What?
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy.
Someone else is not happy. Darian, I said you were going to go third, and I skipped you 3 times. Sorry. Your turn. No, what are you feeling?
No problem. It was a 3 for me. I think pacing was the major issue. Pacing was one of the issues. Because, it's so backloaded. with so many things just rushed, as well as so many things are set up that they don't even address. Like one thing is like Narampa's strategy is to attack Balaam in the dream world. That doesn't happen. She goes and like, destroys like half the city instead. And the prophecy that's been teased throughout the book, none of it really is even addressed. Like the only thing was what we figured out that Balaam was his father. Nothing else was really.
But I mean, we already knew that. It wasn't suspenseful. It wasn't like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, Balaam's his dad, no? And everyone's like, well, technically,
God Bride Unloved,
we don't know.
Like, nothing about that. We don't know anything about the God Bride Unloved. We don't know anything about what he would have lost if he won all he was, because he kind of like, he abandoned the prophecy. So we don't even know what the prophecy really was trying to say.
Yep.
Also, Paul Okoa.
Also what?
Paul Okoa. That guy
poor
deserved a break.
Okoa. You know what? Okoa is the punching bag of this book series. Yep. Yeah, that's tough. Jimmy, you said 4 out of 5?
Yeah, I said 4 out of 5. Because, like much like Vaden said, it has very strong world building. Like, who doesn't want to ride a crow, right? I mean, that's pretty awesome. Right. And like you said, the build up was, that they were supposed to do this certain thing, and it didn't have. Again, I said to Tim earlier that it was like the last episode of Game of Thrones on HBO, where it was like a lot of build up and then it got a little payoff. But that's just. So I think, overall, it was a decent book. It just had certain parts that were lacking. That's all.
Can someone do me a solid? This might be a lease thing, but can someone look up Rebecca Roanhorse news and what the deadline of this book was? Because if we have a very similar Game of Thrones thing, what is Rebecca Roanhorse's directing Star Wars offer that distracted her from sticking the landing from the thing that she's built up so much? Because something's not making sense with the end of this book. I felt like there was a deadline, a rush to get there.
Didn't this
and
book get pushed twice? I thought this book got pushed twice.
It did get
delayed. It did get pushed back like almost a year.
Almost a full year.
I would actually love to do a series.
I think some of that might have been the publisher as much as it was her. But it's very possible she got overextended because she's been writing comics for Marvel. She wrote Echo on Disney Plus. She's been writing for Star Wars. And then she's got at least 2 other series? She's got Tread of Angels, and then she started another one that she had another one that I think is supposed to be a trilogy, but so far only has 2 books out. That's very Navajo based.
The Sixth World, I think.
Yeah, the Trail of Lightning.
Yeah. Right.
I think we're all. Oh, go Darian.
Yeah, and I think she had like 4 books worth of stuff that she was forced to fit into 3 books because, like, we lost a lot of the book just focused on being antique. And I think it could have been like that could have been the 3rd book, and the 4th book could have been the actual war, like the invasion of Tova and all that. But I think like she was like contracted just for 3 books or something. That's my feeling.
That would actually make a lot of sense because there was a lot of build up with the lore and there was a lot of build up in the arcs and characters. I feel like we're all on the same page here. And I feel like because the first 2 books, especially the first book, built out such incredible lore, and the more that was added to it, the more that this lore was enriched, the more that these characters could grow and get deeper and have interactions with each other. Like we always call it, you're putting the pieces on the chessboard. I feel like when there was so much potential to explore and all the pieces were moving in incredible directions, and then it was just smoosh at the end. It was like what could have happened, where it could have gone, because there was, it was laid out there. Colleen says, I wanted to love it so much more. I feel like it was almost an injustice to the beauty that she'd built. Because it was so beautiful to have it sort of back-ended. You say that though, and back-end sounds like constipation, but this was diarrhea, if we could go with that analogy. Like, it just held on, and then what's wrong with me? What do you think is wrong with me? Who would like to go first?
Mom, stop speaking pool sultano, okay?
Stop it! God damn it!
Well played, sir.
Ah, shit. Oh, no! Not the point I'm trying to make. Oh, man. I'm trying to...
We need to get you a shovel, Mon. Just dig that hole a little deeper.
Vaden wants to bring us back on track, saying, I think the prophecy was meant to be cast aside by Serapio to show him finally breaking free of his fate. It didn't feel like that, though, did it? It was like you put it all up, and this happens quite a few times where it's like the build-up was amazing. You're telling me 2 armies are coming? One of them is a secret army going through secret portals. That's a blood sacrifice to make happen. Another one is coming by sea. We are doing like full-on Lord of the Rings. We've already used a ghost army to wipe out one of them. Like, what are we going to do? Where are the eagles coming from? Like, what's happening? And then some things are literally dealt with in a sentence that's an afterthought. Oh, yeah, didn't you hear? Yeah, Charlotte, like, totally took care of the sea stuff like she said she would. And you're like, what? Oh, yeah, like, by the time the ships arrived, there were, like, some animals on there, and then, like, the rest of them were, like, brought down by some squid thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, we saw
Where
her
was
use
that?
power. Well, because we saw her use her power in the previous chapter to use the Kraken, summon the Kraken to destroy a ship.
So allude during that, and then bring us the goods at the end.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that would have been better. I think that would have been better to show that a little bit, like I said in the beginning, and then do the bigger battle with the bunch of ships instead of just doing the bunch of, like I said, it's the opposite. But yeah.
Charlotte wipes 9,000 troops and 200 ships off screen. STS says really should have kept that ghost army around. They were even building up a bit of a ghost army. I mean, Kupcha gets dragged off by these sort of like dreamwalky, ghosty creatures. I'm like, all right, so that's a new threat. How is that not a part of this? No, it was just to move the plot along. Okay. Why the Kraken erasure? No, this is important. Vanessa Porg, justice for the Krakens. Why the Kraken erasure? That's a really good question, Vanessa.
They hinted at the Kraken still being around at the end, at the very end of the book when Ikton goes to visit Shala and she has that special cove where the waters are calm. They hint that the Kraken is there, but they don't.
I would have loved this Kraken to have had the same sort of relationship as Okoa and Bonunda. I would 100%. Have liked, you know what I mean? Like, she's a sea creature now. She's now the vessel of a god also. Like, what does this look like? What are the perks? How does this beef her up? Like, and I also think that would be beautiful unity between all of these, because I think something that I'm really frustrated by in the last book, remember how in part 1, we spent that time talking about all the different, whether they were gods or it was a type of magic, and the opposites to create a harmony or balance. So it was, water and blood, spirit and why can't I remember them? Oh, because we weren't, it was pointless. There was no need to remember it because it actually had no impact. I was like, if you're going to bring all of these things up, what roles are they being played in here? I really didn't like as well that in book 3, we are having so much backstory, flashbacks, exposition to make Balaam more of a main character and a villain. That should have happened all of book 2 when Balaam was first introduced. Irish Warhog comes in strong saying, hi, Nerd Muffins. Hi. I just thought that you spent a third of the book bringing in a character as a villain when that time would have been used so much better with Narumpa training and learning how to become a sun god and what that looks like. I wanted to learn about how she could activate flame wings and fly. I wanted to learn about how, how much healing is required. And anytime someone is hurt, it's up to her to kind of use her power to heal, and how that could be draining. Like, I just wanted to see this be more and more and more, I guess. Colleen says the coyote god waited around to pick up the pieces, but we didn't hear how. We didn't hear how. I loved sort of like the coyote god. We got introduced in the second one. It was like more of a scavenger type thing. It's like, so what role does that play? How does that come about? Why is the more so important? Why was her brother's role really important from Fevered Star, and what impact did that have for the rest of all of this? I felt like Narumpa was sort of isolated. She had a bit of a training montage that didn't really go anywhere. And you're right. At the very end, she got taken over by her god, which turned her into Daenerys, and she Dracarys'd all over the town. And just like King's Landing, everything was burnt to ash. But instead of Jon Snow killing her, she Sleeping Beautied as a peace out.
Absolute waste of a character. Absolute waste of a character. I was so mad reading that whole sequence.
I was also like, and then she what? Yeah, but then it's 6 years later, and it's 6 years later, and she's still asleep. And that was just tied off, and we don't even know if Narampa's conscious.
Absolutely useless. Well, there was no point in any of what she did.
Vanessa raises a great point. We don't even know if Narampa's conscious. Like, is she fighting in her dream state or just asleep? We don't know. ISnoreToo says, I agree with all of this. So what's with all the high ratings? I think it's because this book and what it has to offer and how it built out the world was really impressive. I have seen that book 3 is the least received, I suppose. It's really hard because usually in a trilogy, it's book 2 that is the weaker point, because you're building up for all the things to happen in book 3. And I think the build up in book 2 and even the first half of book 3 was all there. It could have been epic. It just kind of felt like it was a bit rushed. But, you know, ISnoreToo, thank you for challenging us. Why all the high ratings? Like, this is the conversation discussions we should be having. Yes, Tim.
I was going to say, the only reason I gave it the score I gave it was because I felt like the plot sequencing was weird, and I have my gripe about the ending of the Narumpa story arc, but I thought the action sequences were very well written. I'm not much for romance, but the romance scenes were extremely well written. Like, I mean, overall, the book was very well written. There's just a lot of things that were lacking or missing.
Yeah. Or a lot of hype and disappointing execution. Yeah, the build-up. The build-up was there.
All talk.
Yeah, interesting. Airwolf B's like, just showing up for my 30 stream streak. And I'm going to lurk while I work. I love that. Colleen says, I loved the world, and it's just so gratifying to see Native American representation in fantasy. Big same. This was so unlike all the traditional fantasy that we've usually grown up seeing. Having crows and water serpents and kraken and, you know, just such a variety and an array of like different powers. I really got lost talking about and thinking about Shiala's power, being like, it is so powerful and yet like it is so difficult to manage. And it reminded me when you choose spells playing a wizard as a D&D class, KPWs, you know all about this, but yours, I believe, was nerfed to help you. But for me, it's like you're in a situation and you've only got about 7 spells to choose from, and none of them help the situation. Or you go so hard on damage that it's like you can't do anything to help like unlock a door, and you feel so helpless in these situations. For Shiala, she's AoE damage. Noise comes out, anyone can hear it who's affected. It's not friendly fire. She can't really use it at a target. And I just thought that was such an intriguing thing, to have incredible power, and most times that you need to use it, you cannot. I loved that was taxing and difficult, and it was like the antithesis of this Mary Sue, well, she can just do anything without any training. No, she's learning this, and I just... Baby dubs. Limited power! But it was limiting. And then having Serapio at the same time, be trained his entire life, but was never trained for the things that were the most important, which was kindness and compassion, empathy, and learning that through love and through sort of personal situations and people. I just thought that, there you go, ISnoreToo. There are some beautiful aspects of this book. I wrote down a bunch of questions. Let me know if you need to rehash any of the chapters that we went through. Vaden has put them out in the document, which all members have access to. Just click in Book of the Month, click the pins. You can see the links to all the docs there. I wrote a bunch of questions out. We've got an hour and 20 minutes to try and get through all of these. I feel like we've tackled this first one, but let's really get into it. Was the ending fulfilling? Was there enough follow through for the setup? Why/why not? I think we're all on the same page. It just wasn't enough. Lisa.
I think if this was a romance novel, the ending for Shiala and
Serapio.
Oh my God, look, Serapio. I think their ending was good. Like, I liked their story. I like how it ended, but I feel like the buildup for everything else kind of lacked. So it didn't really, that's why I'm kind of around a 3.5, because I feel like, or how good the first two books were, the third book just kind of fell flat.
Yep. Are we all on the same page? Is anyone gonna root for or justify or, champion the ending of the book? Don't be daunted. If you have that feeling, I really want you to represent the people that love the end of the book.
I just am a fan of like parent-kid stories. So when we find out that they have a kid, and then although it was very like Forrest Gumpy when she goes to tell Serapio, she's like, "No, I wasn't alone," and he's like, "Oh, you must," he's thinking she had someone else, and he's like, "No," she's like, "No, not like that. I had a kid," and he's still like, "Oh, with somebody else," and she's like, "No, he's yours." So I'm a sucker for that.
Because
so
of course, if you bump uglies one time, you have to have a kid, right?
But that one part at the end drove it up like a full point for me, because
I saw that
the book had a lot of problems. Yeah,
I saw that you rated it big time because of that. What was your initial score, and what did it bump it up to?
It was about a 4, but that ending to me just made it a 5, because like at the end of a book or an end of a story or movie, whatever, I just want to know, like, did I feel good at the end? And I did. So
I actually feel
problems, but I liked it.
Well, Shiala brought this up as well, and hell, I'm on Team Shiala here. Like, you can tell also Rebecca's like, Narampa, meh. Okoa, meh. Shiala, she gets everything she's wanted. She's powerful. She's going to save the day. She's going to take out the villain. She is queen. Like, that was quite funny. I noticed that when they rekindled, she was kind of like, wait, so there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't have spent the last 6 years together? Wait, so you flew off as a flock of crows and then just like didn't try to find me? So I had the opposite. She's been single mumming for 6 years, finally hears the story about a blind person who's like a hermit who whittles away with some wood. And she's like, well, so why didn't you come find me? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I just didn't, I guess.
Well,
she's like,
he doesn't explain. It's not like great, not the best explanation, but basically he says that it took a while to become a human again. Like he was that flock of crows, his spirit was gone. Basically, that's all he was. He didn't have an actual, corporeal body for a while. And then everyone when he got his body back, he didn't have his memories. So he had to his memories had to restore after a while too. But yeah, it's confusing as to why he didn't go back after that point. We don't know.
Yeah, so that is actually not a happy ending at all. That to me, like, you want to talk romance. Now, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong for this. You're there, great. Tell me if I'm wrong for this. But like, they've consummated, they have a child, the love that they have is unparalleled, and they should be drawn to each other. Whether you just had the literal god exorcised out of your body, love conquers all. And they should like... KP says, but their story, it doesn't have an ending yet. They are going to write it together. Okay, you're very sweet. No. I see where you're going with that. No.
I also felt like if Shiala loved him so much, it would have been a little bit more of a struggle for her to stab him. Like it felt like she's just like, okay, I gotta stab you.
This is the. Oh, hold on, one second. I've got it. This is me. Ready? Ha ha! Shung. Yeah. Oh, you didn't die. Yay! That's good. Yeah, I get that as well. Vanessa says, hold on. KP Dance is saying. Yeah. What?
I just turned into a flock of crows and flew away.
Yeah. And she was like, well, so long. It's been great. KPW says, Charlotte, so 6 years, you promised you would stay, but you didn't come and find me. And then Vanessa said, I would have been so pissed. When they reunited, they were so detached, like no big run to each other. Seriously. He's like, so I've just been telling you to help pick and cook some vegetables. You'll stay for dinner, yeah? You haven't seen each other for 6 years. She has trekked over land.
He's never seen her.
Okay. You're right. You're right.
I appreciated the casualness of the conversation only because it's so cliche to run together and embrace and stuff. I liked how casual it was of will you stay for dinner.
I agree with Darian on
I like
that.
Yeah.
It felt like Serapio was very guarded because he probably expected Shala to be pissed. Like he recognized that was her, and he was like, "Fuck, what? How's this gonna go?"
Shala has had all the time and space for Serapio. There are times where she should have been like, "Wow, I like what you've done with the place. You sacrificed like real people and like use their bones to make it. Hell yeah! Like good for you, interior designer." It's like there are times where she should have been like, "I'm witnessing red flags, and I feel like I need to pull him back from the dark side a little." No, she's like. You can hear her just, what is it, when rationalizing what's going on with him. So, no, I don't think he was wondering if Shala would be mad. She does get a little bit mad where she's like, hey, I've been raising our son. And you are the father. Like, anyway. It took me a minute to make sure that Serapio recognized her. Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about Okoa's death? Oh no, Darian, you've got one more. Are you on the phone? What are you doing? You ordering a pizza? What are you doing? No? What's happening? What are you talking? Did you have your hand up?
No, my dad was calling me from downstairs. So
no phones in the book club.
It's okay if Papa Bear's calling from downstairs. That's great. Maddie wants everyone to know that Darren and I are getting a pizza right now. Yeah. Nice. What kind of pizza? Let us know. Photos in the show chat. He could have used a broom on the ceiling. Okoa's death. Okoa as a character. Okoa as an arc. What was Okoa's purpose in this book? Who would like to go first? No one, because there wasn't any. Okay, great. No. What? Yes, Robin.
I think Okoa's death would have been a lot more significant if he died taking down that eagle. Like during that whole thing. Like, what was the point of him surviving that?
What was the point of him surviving the consequence of killing the soon-to-be sort of princess? Like, it just felt like he was shuffled from plot to plot.
Yeah, I think she didn't know what to do with him at a certain point. I was very confused in that chapter where Serapio came to him because I wasn't sure if it was a hallucination from the poison or if he actually did come to him. And that one it became real when he met Shala out in the wild.
I thought he fell in love with her a little bit too, but I mean, didn't we all? When Okoa was kind of like, wow, she's real pretty. Yeah. I'm like, I know, dude, take a ticket and line up. It's back there. Get to the end.
It's like,
Darren,
okay, I get Serapio, I understand.
Darren's bringing the brutal facts in the comments there. Darren, what was Okoa's purpose?
Just to get screwed by everybody. Everyone just playing him for a fool, and he's just sort of a little bit of the innocent thing, and he just gets played. And Serapio he feels kind of bad about it, but not really all that bad about it. And he's just like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, but oh well, it's done. And then I guess, then I'll save you, I guess. And then he gets super screwed at the end.
Oh my god! But for
And that
why?
other dude,
For what?
the other guy kills him with the poison knife and then takes over the Crow clan. I was like,
why?
Oh,
but like,
but didn't he kill Okoa on direction from his sister?
Essa,
and then
yeah.
went back and betrayed Essa and said that. Like the guy's.
But like, who is this person that we've never met and have no understanding of?
He was like the new shield for Essa, and then I guess he got a poison knife from the Wind Serpent clan as a revenge thing, and and he comes back and just sort of like he wants to take power. It was this one little line that like it was kind of interesting the way that all had happened, but like it was just so kind of out of the blue. You're like, wait a minute,
Essa sends her regards.
No, it wasn't even Essa. It was the Wind Serpent matron.
Yeah, it was the.
Oh yeah.
Then they all died in the fire. So
yeah.
I was kind of waiting for more pieces because it said in winning he'd lose everything, and I thought, okay, Okoa, that's one.
Yeah, right.
But then we had the confrontation in the tower. The only thing that I really can say about the confrontation in the tower that I thought was good is that you saw everybody's weaknesses there.
Okay.
So it's not like, I mean, even if they're God possessed or sorcerers, they still had these weaknesses, and that left them really vulnerable. But it felt like it just played out way too fast, and Okoa ended up feeling like an afterthought.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, he loses everything. What else? You know, what else was lost? He lost Shiala for 6 years, but she lost him.
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of just set up a prophecy to be sort of ignored. Really. I think that's fair to say. Like, that was for us, because it's like a lot of the time, who are we rooting for? What's our purpose, our direction as the reader? And it was this prophecy, and we're trying to interpret it. We're trying to decipher it like Serapio. He's picking and choosing how he's going to manipulate it. And then all it was, well, Serapio recognized that he didn't have to believe that he was a prophecy. And that was the big thing that he did. And you're like, well, why did you put so much emphasis on the prophecy? I had like 5 hands up just then. Baden, what are your thoughts with this?
Just the prophecy thing is like, so I mean, it makes sense like why the prophecy doesn't get fulfilled, because it's a big part of the book, and the whole point of the character arc for Serapio is that he's trying to fulfill the prophecy because he's bound by fate. He's someone the whole thing is throughout the series is that he's been stuck in his fate. He doesn't leave it. He thinks it's the only thing that matters to him, and then the only way to get away from that is to stop fulfilling the prophecy and do what he thinks is right instead of. So he gives up the prophecy essentially and his chance to fulfill it because of his love for Shiala. So I think it's important that he has to break the prophecy or break his attempt to fulfill it.
I would have liked that more if he thought he had exhausted everything, interpretations of it. If he'd kill, he kind of did that with who he thought was his father, killing people, making these sacrifices, being frustrated, like I'm doing everything. It started doing that by like eliminating his bride, trying to manipulate and, deconstruct parts of this prophecy, but it just went to the wayside a little bit. And I thought the showdown was supposed to be between Serapio and Balaam. Real father. I am your father. No, it's impossible. We didn't have any of that. Instead, his crow god was so drawn to Narumpa and Shadow and Sun duking it out that Shiala just stepped in and went, I got this. Supersonic beam. Wait, no sound. Which was actually kind of cool. And I don't know if anyone was in Fable, but Holly made... Oh, hi, Chucky. Hi, baby girl. Hey, sweetums. Oh, make sure you'll get... This is what she does. She tries to get comfortable. Is that to your liking? No,
hold for Zelda.
No, she's having a bath. She's cleaning. Hey, wait, get out of there. Good. Not on camera. She literally comes to sit in her bed and get on camera so she can lick her parts. Well, thank you, darling. All right, I've shamed her enough. Who else would like to continue that conversation? Darian and then Tim.
I have a theory, but it could only work if the book was longer or it was expanded into a fourth book. That the prophecy, because it came from the Coyote clan, the Coyote god, it could have all been like a trick, like because the Coyote is a trickster, to try and eliminate all the other clans so Coyote would remain or become the dominant one. But that would only work if there was like a lot more of the court intrigue of the Coyote clan. Like,
if we had a person that had the Coyote god consumed by them, who was like Loki, who was tweaking and manipulating and constructing and puppeteering throughout this entire thing, we didn't have that. Exactly. It didn't pay off.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Robin asks, what part of the prophecy doesn't get fulfilled? I feel like
most of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the wars.
The war ends, though.
Yeah, but he didn't win the war. He has to.
Who says he didn't win the war? Like who? Like
that,
there wasn't really a winner, I guess.
The son had to fell the sire, and he didn't. It was Shiala that did. So does that negate the whole thing?
I think they were trying to say it never mattered all along, because he just went, "Oh, I'm going to opt out of it." Okay, Frito asked a great question. Are there winners in war? No. I think the only sort of like winners here was to try and seek a sort of freedom from the possession of a god. Narumpa, had a game plan and the god went, nope, I'm going to take the wheel now. We're going to put you on standby. And then Serapio was kind of like, well, no, Shiala was like, I free you of the vengeance god. So was that the war between autonomy within their own body?
The only person who won in this was Shiala, in a sense, and Chayla, because he became the master of Carrion Crow Clan.
Yeah, for being a sneaky little wench. Alrighty. How did you feel about, going back to the temple there, the Celestial Tower, how did you feel about the showdown with Balaam? The showdown of him sort of being in dreams but not being in dreams, offering persimmons, trying to recognize who this spear maiden was the whole time, recognizing it as someone of importance. She's been uttering a word. He just doesn't know the word, so he's in the temple looking through books to figure out what the word was. He finds out no one cares. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm bumping this down. This is a 3.5, isn't it? Tim, your hands up.
I was just gonna say, it felt to me, and I feel like we've been harping on the end of this book for the last hour, but it almost felt to me like Rebecca Roanhorse had so many ideas and nothing that really stuck. Like it felt like she didn't really know how to end the book, because there's all these things set up. Okoa goes and spends time out in the weeds with the engineers and builds these cool dams to flood the army out, right? And then all of a sudden, oh wait, but what if they skip that part because now there's a shadow gate that's made because we flayed Toon open and used her blood. And then what if all of a sudden now Shala can use light instead of sound, but they're the same? Like, I understand synesthesia is a thing, but it was so random, and it was just brought up in like chapter 44, just out of the weeds, where the engineer's like, I have a great idea, you guys, slick shoes. It's just, it was so random. And then all of a sudden, Shala's like, oh yeah, I can do that. And goes all Jubilee on Balaam. And it was just like, the whole book was building up to have all of the avatars of their respective gods in one place, duking it out.
Battle Royale. That's it.
And then Narampa's like, I'm gonna do this. Sun God's like, no, burn the city down, fam. And Narampa's like, I don't want to do that. And then falls asleep. And then it was so bizarre. It was just so bizarre.
There you go.
To me, it just felt like she was throwing stuff at the walls. And
you know what it actually felt like? It felt like she was playing this in a tabletop game, but different players were randomly rolling and choosing and deciding what all the characters were doing, and chaos ensued. And it was, instead of yes-anding the story, it was, no, but I want to go back that way. But it's like, but what was this whole setup? It doesn't matter. We're doing this now. And the DM
that has lost control of the table.
The DM has lost control of the table, and there was direction, but everyone was too busy doing their own thing. And then she's just like, you know what? You cast Fireball. It's over.
Yeah.
Fuck you all. You wasted my time. I had a really...
That's the end.
There it is.
Okay.
Hope you're happy.
And then she wrote 3 chapters to give us closure, but she didn't really...
I didn't give me closure.
Because, you didn't get any closure. Like, cool, they have a kid. Kind of figured that would happen anyways. Nobody has a clue what happens with Narampa and Ikton, despite them being an integral part of the story. It's just... And the only thing Okoa was there was to tie everything together. He was literally the string between all the parties, because he had interactions with Ikton, with Narampa, with Rapia,
so did Shiala,
with Jala, with Balam.
Shiala had a very similar thing where she basically had sort of screen time with everyone there. Except Narampa, I don't believe. I don't think Narampa.
Except for Narampa. Like, Okoa was the one common thing between all of the god avatars, and...
I just wish it's like... She's the water, the mother, the water goddess, but then it's like, how does that support the shadow? It would have been really, really cool if there was like, I don't know, more of like a draw between the opposites. Because at the moment, like the shadow and sun, like they had beef. The gods themselves had beef. And it was like, I know. No, I just paused. What's going on? Sorry. Why am I dropping frames? Oh, no. My video froze. Not you. Okay. But yeah, like there was a moment where Balam's there. Balam's been set up with his backstory and exposition to be the main villain. And Serapio was like, I know I've got to kill him. That's my father. No one cared, but like I've got to do this. And then the draw and pull that he had towards Narampa. I'm like, that sounds like an anime kind of storyline, where you think you have to face off with the boss, but it turns out like it's like another boss and you're unveiling a bigger thing. There were ways to do it, I think.
I guess my question mark is, why didn't we ever, like, literally from book 1, we're expecting this grand showdown between the crow god and the sun god, and that never happened.
No, I know.
What I mean? It's almost like somewhere in book 2 they killed Supreme Leader Snoke for no fucking reason. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
kind of felt like that, and then they're like, well, shit, what do we do now?
I really want to highlight Vaden's point, because you're so right. Going into this like chaotic D&D session with all of these characters playing their own game, Narampa failed her wisdom saving throw and then got trapped in the dream. Yeah, it was like, all right, you have to roll a 16 or higher to free yourself from the sun god that you've been training with for the last 2 books. I rolled a 4. All right, well, you sleep forever. Can I re-roll? Nope, you're sleeping forever. Can someone give me inspiration, or can they? Nope, you're sleeping forever. Oopsie. Should have rolled better.
Was the sleeping forever thing foreshadowed like 8 chapters previously when Narampa gave up her little fire emblem to the kid so she could find Ikton? Like, was that foreshadowed and we just missed it? Is that what that was?
There was a point in there where she was so happy to give it up. That moment felt so weird for me, where she's like, I didn't even hesitate. I gave him the talisman.
But then
and he went right there.
Right before she was supposed to go into the dream world, she had like this mini freak out about not having it because it was supposed to be her little token to get out of the dream, sort of,
That wasn't clear at all then.
It was
and Ikton's like, no, don't worry, I'll wake you up. And then Ikton's like, oh, I guess I won't wake you up at all ever.
Yeah, like, I mean, you're confused. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. It just felt like there was a token all Inception-like, and then she didn't have it.
Yeah, no, I was confused because it was so disorienting, the chapter where she went into the dream, like where Cupshoe got attacked and stuff. I swear Ikton died in that chapter as well, only to learn that he was guarding her and he brought her body back. And that was a surprise to me. I thought they all, like, Cupshoe and Ikton died and she was, like, stuck in a coma.
I genuinely thought all of the god avatars and sorcerers were going to die and the world was just going to keep spinning sans magic.
Well, that would have been, loses everything. I don't know.
I felt like that would have been to me, that was the logical ending of the book, but.
Narumpa had the Firebird talisman that she gave up earlier to find Iktan. And was that a consequence of that action? We're not sure. Don't really know if it's tied. Steph, I want to put it over to you. I have not kind of gone to you for any part of this book. We have been talking about the ending of the book a lot in detail. I'd love to unpack your brain and pick your brain, not unpick your brain. I combined them incorrectly. But what are your thoughts on all of this?
I still haven't read the last 100 pages, so that's okay.
That's all we've been talking about.
All good. All good.
Literally been the entire conversation.
The whole book happens in the last 100 pages. So
I know.
Now that you've heard about the ending of the book you haven't read yet in detail, what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to finishing the book?
I am. I just feel like the whole book 2 was just all these moving chess pieces on the board. And nothing happened in book 2, in my opinion. And now, like, everything apparently ends in the last 100 pages.
Yeah.
Like, that have been, like, better managed or better, I don't know.
But to go back to what happened in Fevered Star, Fevered Star had some pretty cool badass moments. One of my favorites being when, again, you had this cat and mouse sort of play with Serapio and Narumpa. So Narumpa was being chased by Serapio and he shoots out at her and breaks into crows and chases her up this tower, and she hasn't quite grasped her powers yet. And so, you know, she's like the little mouse that this cat is stalking and playing with. But to have like these beautiful moments of being chased and seeing Serapio using his powers by dispersing as crows, then by her sort of like healing and having fire in her, like there were ways where these characters were becoming kind of cool. We got a little bit of that with Serapio, I suppose, where, you know, at one point he's like half bird, half person. We got a little bit of I guess, for if book 2 for him was powering up, book 3 was humanizing himself, recognizing he didn't have to kill everyone who disobeyed him. He didn't have to be a tyrant. Balaam was too busy doing that anyway. So to have Serapio kind of take a step back and ask the questions, why am I trying to hurt? Why am I trying to destroy? Why have I asked my best friend and longest ally to open their neck in front of me and swear loyalty, where their soul has kind of gone and now they're just an empty vessel of my doing? You know, he started questioning these things, which I thought was important. I want Kraken and Sun God and Dragon and Water Beetle Strider thing, and I want like, come on, the chess pieces are there. What's her name from Renita? What's her name from Power Rangers? Make my pretties grow. I'm really old.
Rita Repulsa.
Yep. I wanted Rita to like, let's go. I wanted like showdowns.
I really thought there was going to be a moment when Narumpa and Serapio met again. And it was going to be like hinting for a fight, but then they realized we're going to let go of our power. That's how I thought that was going to go. But no, she's just going to like stay in the northern wastelands doing shrooms.
I would have hoped that the last third of this book, we are hearing that there is a naval fleet coming on the water. We're hearing that from Shiala, that there's blood magic portals underneath the city or like between places to transport a second army. You divide the team. Team 1, it's very Dune-esque as well, you know. Team 1, you're going to take out this point, this point, this point. This is who you're up against. This is what we need to, this is like the outcome that we're looking for. Go. Right. Serapio, this is what's going to happen. You're going to deal with this particular issue. Balaam's the problem. He's the key. Defeat Balaam, the armies fall. Go. Shiala, you're going to lead the naval team. Have you figured out how to summon the Kraken? Have you convinced the creatures of the ocean to accept you as mother? Have you worked on your powers? Can you use them underwater in a way that helps, that builds the army? That should have been the second half of the book. All of these things playing out. I felt it was a bit of a cop-out with Okoa suddenly going off to find Shiala and he's risking his life just to jump off his bird to try and take out one person. I'm like, why are we spending pages on one person who doesn't really matter in the scheme of things when there are armies and there's a fleet and there are gods? Okay, I ranted. That felt good. It did. It felt good to get it all out. But it's also very disappointing with what we got. And also, Steph, from all of us, we'd like to apologize for absolutely ruining the last part of the book for you. Soz about it. Here's a spoiler warning for everyone. We will be covering all parts of the book. Ding. 'Twas a good rant. Thanks, STS. Catch says, I also never laughed harder at a book than when Okoa said engineering was a simple life. Oh, I saw it in Fable. I saw you just be like, baha. Okay. Also, if you are looking for a really good engineering kind of person, quite similar to in this book, that helps heroes defeat people through technology, please watch My Hero Academia. How cool is that? Jimmy? Yep, I knew it. I knew you'd know what I'm talking about. She's so cool. She basically creates these floating islands to disperse and take care of. Oh my God, I'm describing what's happening in the current season of My Hero Academia. Just split off and have everyone take on a whole thing. That's exactly what's happening. Okay, your homework. Watch anime. Great. Cheyenne says this stream will determine if I continue with book 2. Ooh, I mean, they are an amazing series. We've touched on it a little bit before. I have not read a series that really delves into an indigenous fantasy, taking incredible history and showcasing sort of what is unique to indigenous lore and bringing that to life. That part of the book and the whole series is so cool. The fact that I just want more of it, and that's my complaint, that is a win, I guess. I just wanted more of what was built because it was so cool. Catch says they were doing water resource engineering, which is a bunch of I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I opt out.
It's a branch of civil engineering. Sorry,
I didn't ask.
That I avoided for a reason because it's fucking hard.
Yep.
It's not simple at all.
2 armies are consecutively vying to destroy Serapio. And there's time to engineer with water. Okay, just say.
I'll see. That chapter with Shiala witnessing the blood rite to open the Shadow Gate, that chapter was fucking amusing.
Pawagi?
No, the chapter where Shiala was in the... where Shiala was... Yeah, with the Toon.
That was Toon's flayed body. Yeah.
That chapter was fucking amazing.
I agree. It was so visceral in the sense where, they had to be blindfolded and she's like, this isn't water. I know what water feels like. This is warm. It is thick. It is viscousy. It's blood. There is a lot of blood happening here. And then you kind of see why. It had actually Buffy season 5 vibes. No? KP Dubs. No, if you're gonna write that in the chat. If you're gonna write that in the chat, KP Dubs, you have to say it out loud. Say it with your chest.
I just said she was singing a different tune after that.
Your call if you want Baboom Tish or a round of applause. That's discretion choice of members plus. Or absolutely nothing. Damn.
So fun fact. Yeah. My actual favorite is Damn It Dubs. I love Goddamn It Dubs. That's my favorite.
I love Goddamn It Dubs. We need to make that a thing from today, right now. I'm sorry that you had to be the one to bring it up to make it a thing. We should have been doing that already. And everyone else, I'm disappointed in you. We'll have a talk about it after the show. But thank you, KP Dubs. Goddamn it, Dubs. Next questions.
I want to make a comment about the water engineering. That's kind of not an engineer, so not going to dispute any of that. But there is evidence, especially with the Inca, of extremely advanced water engineering as far as their canals and things went. So, and I think even with the Maya, they're finding that there was a lot of, and the Aztecs made floating islands to live on.
Wow. Thank you for that, because I think that is really important to kind of correlate back to what was big in that Indigenous history and bringing that to fruition in the book. It would have been cool if it was like deployed and aided the story, but now I'm understanding a lot more of why it held precipice in the book, why it was, an important part of it. And, for me, like, I'm all about character, right? And Okoa really felt a true sense of belonging and, having community and not having sort of like the history of his father's actions betraying everyone, and like having a bit of a fresh start, and how important that was for Okoa. So yeah, they had to kill him, obviously. STS says math is math no matter the culture. Good engineering has been around forever. Next questions that I've got happening in the document here. These can be relatively quick if you would like. Betrayal plays a huge part in the second half of the book, with Okoa being betrayed. Pawagi was betrayed. Toon is betrayed. And the way that they are mainly betrayed is realizing that they're all just pawn pieces on the chessboard. Do you feel like betrayal helped with the story, or was it injected for the sake of it? I have to write that down now.
I don't think it was necessary, but I don't think it took anything away from the story either. Cool.
Yeah, I've got a real clicky-clacky keyboard now, so I had to mute to type the rest of it out. Did you feel like betrayal was an important theme, or was it injected for the sake of it? All right. Whose arc did you like the most? Cool. Whose arc did you like the least?
I'm going to say Narampa's, only because it never actually finished. Like, I was really intrigued in her character and the growth she had in this book, and then it was just cut in the middle and it didn't actually go anywhere.
Narampa's.
So that's my, as far as the least favorite story arc, it's that one.
Yeah, I think I like Shiala.
Shiala was
storyline
awesome.
the most. But yeah, Narampa and just Okoa in general, because he just was shit on the whole time. It was just not fun to read a lot of his stuff, because it's just like, what are you doing to him?
It didn't catalyst the story. He got tortured. He got broken. He like started falling in love with someone, realized it's his best man's girl. Like, the guy couldn't catch a break. He really couldn't. Also, I think what's a little bit heartbreaky, a little bit sad, is that Game of Thrones did it first, and there should have been a lesson of what not to do. Game of Thrones did the whole burn the city down, and it needs to, you need to know why something like that has to happen. And Game of Thrones was a lesson of why it shouldn't happen. And it was just a bit too similar to something that failed the first time. You know what I mean? Like, you copied the wrong person's homework. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, it was
just like, the sun god was mad at the city of Tova, and so she destroyed it. And it's like,
it kind of makes sense if Tova's been in darkness for 3 months, it's a way, but like, that needed to be very clear.
No, but I don't know. I feel like there was like a sentence that was almost a throwaway that said something about the sun god being mad that the city of Tova cowed to the crow god in the first place. And it was like, oh, well, if you're just going to bow down to the crow god, then I'm just going to burn it to ashes. And I was like, yeah, okay, which is, but what good is it? What good is being a ruler if there's nothing to rule over?
But that was Serapio book 1 and his mentality in book 1. I'm going to burn it all to ground. If you don't agree with me, I'm killing you all. And to see his arc go, wait, That's not how to do things. I shouldn't be doing that. And Narumpa being like, cool, I'll do it. Sick. Blah. You're like, no. How did you not get that lesson, Narumpa? You were supposed to be the good one. You're the one who had the compassion, who had empathy, who had love. Like, what happened?
Just showed that the gods didn't give about anybody.
Yeah,
and
and
I was
that's
about to say they established why she hates Tova, why she should hate Tova in that same chapter. It's like this city that, like, you know, it's classist and, you know, it, you know, grinds people down. Why is she trying to save it? And she, in the end, the son didn't. So
I'm sorry, I got distracted by KB Dubs. KB Dubs, would you like to unmute and own that one? All right, I'll do it for you. Okoa had Serapio on his back. It was like he was carrying Crow the whole time. That was actually pretty good. That's pretty good, dude. That's actually pretty good. I know everyone wants to roll their eyes. That was very well done. That was like an A+ play on words.
The follow-up was better.
I was just winging it. So good. Next question that I have. Serapio struggled with being harnessed by a vengeful god, and through introspection and Shiala, this is what I was touching on, found kindness, compassion, and love. Did you feel like Narumpa had a similar experience? What was her lesson by being challenged by the sun god?
All the gods were vengeful. I think only Coyote, and maybe Coyote was, because Coyote's sort of hanging out in the background going, got you guys. you destroyed yourselves and I'm still here.
Yeah, you can't kill me, but you can kill everyone else. Yeah.
that would have been
I
nice
also
to
think,
got some of Coyote, you know.
what's
Wait,
that?
who's
No,
repped by Coyote? Who's repping Coyote?
The clanless,
Zataya?
the witch,
Zataya.
Sataya. Got it.
Narumpa, Coyote, actually.
Narumpa actually came from Coyote Ma.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she is Coyote clan, but then she became the avatar for the sun god.
Yep.
So Zataya's the only one that was, I guess, the closest thing to an avatar for the Coyote god.
So hold on.
Coyote
1 second. I think maybe something has fallen into place for me. Zataya's only purpose in the book was to let Serapio know about the prophecy. Was that the fuck you all along? Okay. Okay. So the prophecy we thought was important, it was literally the Coyote being like, haha, enjoy the head fuck.
Coyotes are like that. I have to, this is a little off topic.
Let's go.
I know with my Navajo nieces and nephews, my one niece was driving to work one day, and the next thing I know, she's posted on Facebook, Coyote just crossed my path. I'm thinking of turning around and going home. And her sister goes, get out the corn pollen.
What's corn pollen do?
Corn pollen is a blessing. It's used for prayers and purification.
Like sage?
It not exactly. Sage would be a kind of a cleansing. Corn pollen is a little more magical, I guess you would say. A little more, it's
ritualistic.
Yes. It's very important. Like a lot of people would just carry around their pouches of corn pollen for when they needed it.
Fascinating. I'm just Googling it now. My first time learning about it. Thank you, Colleen. Always teaching me things. And Vaden says, as Colleen mentioned, the Coyote is often a trickster god. I just wish that was played up so much more, because Zataya didn't feel trickstery. She didn't feel like a gotcha kind of gal. Like, she truly, I think, was trying to assist or aid Narumpa, trying to assist or aid in a way Serapio. Like, I didn't feel like it was just veiled in obvious deceit. In the last book, we learned about different magics and the balance that they bring, the opposite / to cause harmony. We talked about it a little bit before. Did you feel like that this was explored enough? If anyone has to say yes, I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. Why? Yep. Why was Narumpa's finish exactly like the disappointment of Daenerys in Game of Thrones? Burns down the city and then just bye. Yep, we got into that. Here we go. The intimacy ramped up in this book between Shiala and Serapio, and even with Narumpa and Iktan. How did you like the exploration of these relationships? Shiala being experienced as a juxtaposition to Serapio. Hold on, I wrote the wrong thing in there. Did you feel like that there was room for that to be explored a little bit more? No one wants to talk about the sexy time in the book. I'm not.
It's all Lisa. It's all Lisa.
Feel called out. I mean, I've read more graphic, I guess. So I mean, I felt like I don't even know how to explain it. Like I liked the romance in the book. I liked the scenes with them as characters, but I didn't find anything too special about it.
Like,
I guess I don't know.
It wasn't a catalyst for like furthering their relationship. I did think that there was a really beautiful moment with Serapio and a vulnerability of, you know, wanting to be with someone that he loves, but not really knowing how because he hasn't done it before. I thought that was important to explore because it was actually a reminder for me. Serapio didn't have a normal childhood. He didn't have a normal life. He wasn't out there getting jiggy or busy at all. His whole life, it was a reminder in that moment, his whole life has been dedicated to a prophecy, to becoming a vessel for a god. He did not have time for anything like that. And then you remember sort of like Shiala, women and men, the culture of the teak is so sexually explorative. It's almost like communicating with someone. And it was just very, very interesting to see they're so different. But I liked how accepting Shiala was of it and encouraging in those moments and like, you know, taking a lot of fear out of what could potentially be a very frightening experience. Robin, you had your hand up, and Tim, you do too.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, I liked Iktan and Narumpa. Like, that made sense to me. Like, they've known each other for a very long time, had a previous relationship as well. But Chiala and Serapio just felt really rushed into that. Like, they had a moment in book 1, and that was it.
It was not a slow burn. It was, you're right. It was look a little bit of honey off a finger. Look a bit of, yep. Yeah. And then it was graphic base running, sprinting through the bases. Don't make me remind everyone what the bases are. That is not my job. I did it to a girl in Harriet in the 11th grade because she was explaining that by the 17th base it was extended hand holding, and I had to you know, swiftly tell her what the bases were. But I'm not doing that with this. That's a really sweet story, though. I wonder how
did she react when you explained everything? How did she react at the end of that conversation?
Oh, it was really easy. There are 4 bases only: kiss, touch, lick, fuck. That's it. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And if she asked any more questions, I was not the person.
Cricket, not baseball, so you know.
Yeah, no, you just have to get a run. Like, don't get hit where it hurts, and run.
A 4 and hit a 6.
Yeah, hit a 6. I don't like talking sport. Zataya was almost broken when Denochi was killed. She was pretty much left on her own in the Coyote Moor. Yeah. She was so isolated from it all. Maybe it's different in Australia, says K Frito. Oh. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Maddie. That's great. She did become Shield to the new matron of the Moor. There you go. Anyway, I thought that was a really sweet reminder of like character depth with Serapio. I actually thought that this would have been a really interesting exploration of a non-binary intimate relationship, because a lot of people have questions, and I think that this could have been a scope to explore that somewhat. But at the same time, it also isn't her job to do that either. It just kind of would have been nice to see like a normalization, because Narumpa, I felt, was always quite detached from that, inexperienced as well. And we have no idea who Iktan is with all of that. As soon as Iktan like nearly dies, it's like, oh, I have to tell the person that I love her. And that's the most important thing. And then as soon as Iktan finally like shared those feelings and they were reciprocated, they were like full on married 4 days later. Like they were just straight up rushed to the altar. And it was kind of interesting. It's quite interesting. Iktan being so reserved, hinting at Narumpa, hey, sorry, I betrayed you earlier as well. Like, oops, that's not something that I'm proud of. And then when Narumpa's like, I feel the same way, Iktan's like, sick, sweetheart. And you're like, what? It feels weird saying it. Yes, Tim.
This is coming from someone who doesn't read a lot of romance. Actually, none.
Well, we got you covered in this conversation. Yes.
Like I said, I thought that those scenes were written very well. I related more to Iktan and Narampa simply because I've had a relationship like that, and it ended much the same way.
Is she still asleep?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her in 10 years.
She's asleep in your mind. Got it.
So,
you're right.
Yeah.
Well, that one's more like a relationship. The other one was more an exploration of lust.
It felt like Shala and Serapio kind of felt like a hookup or like a high school relationship where you're like, that person's attractive and you date for 6 months and you bone once and then you never talk to them again, except, we know how the story ends for them, I guess. But leading up to that, that's kind of how it felt. It didn't feel like there was any real feeling or emotion in that.
They did put a
lot of lust, I guess.
They did put the honey in honeymoon phase.
Probably.
No, because in the first book they have the moment with the never mind. That was beautiful.
I'll give it to
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I hear what you're saying. It was one was very physical. One was incredibly physical, and another one was incredibly like emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I like it.
Were you ever there you go.
You like the part where there were feelings.
See, I'm not cold and heartless.
That's sort of what romance is. It's all about the feelings part. Next question. Were you ever confused by who you're supposed to root for?
Nope, it was always Shiala.
You goddamn right. How did you find the "I am your father" moment reveal for Balaam/Serapio? So underwhelming, pointless.
Useless.
Yep. What were your thoughts about the sick? Yes, Colleen?
They had led into it so much. I mean, when McCall was going, yeah, you were born 3 months early, but you were perfect. So yeah, that happens.
But also Balaam going like, stop talking about my son like that without saying it's my son. Like,
I mean, you kind of knew that was going to happen from the very first flashback with Balaam when he starts talking about Saya. You're like,
it was so predictable.
Clearly, this is what's happening.
It was so predictable. I didn't even notice that it hadn't been revealed. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Last week or the week before, I'm like, yeah. So Balaam's Serapio's dad, and it's like,
yeah.
Well, it hasn't been.
When Paula tells it to Serapio, you're like, yeah, okay,
yeah,
duh.
Yeah.
The only one who was surprised by it was Serapio.
Mm-hmm. Literally, the only person.
Yeah. What were your thoughts about the 6 years later? Do you think it was a happy ending? Did you feel closure? We kind of did touch upon that in an earlier discussion. Some people liked it a lot more than others. I thought it felt a little bit underwhelming. There is a conversation though, the state of Narumpa being permanently in sleep, does that set it up for another installation of this? No. Would you want to see more in this world?
I think there would be possibilities because we have Shala's son.
Yep.
That could go on to be a whole other story. And, and Narumpa waking. I mean, there's things that could happen, but I personally wouldn't really want to see this pursued. I think it's better to just kind of let our imaginations go from here.
Yeah.
If she wants to write, or if someone would like to write a fantasy set in a similar world, I'm all for that. I would love to see more of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not necessarily a book 4.
Okay. Darren, you bring up a great point.
Yeah, with Narampa and her being in the dream, it does. Her teacher alludes to her to be like, oh, remember the difference between being awake and being a dream, and like the difference between death and being a dream. And then she's like, oh shit, I don't have my like her medallion, and then all of a sudden shit hits the fan. And so I think that's part of why she doesn't ever wake up. But in at the ending part, Icton is as his role as ambassador and all, and him looking for a way to heal the Rampa. He does mention
Shia
mentions a whole lot of the outside world and how Teak has opened up to being trading with these whole other places across the sea, and it makes their region feel a lot smaller. And then that there's like, oh, this is a very regional conflict, and there's a whole lot of places that are really not all that far away that we didn't really explore.
And it'd be interesting to see what that 6 years of the Teak Islands being run by Shiala looks like. Shiala had a great relationship with Ictan. Shiala's had a great relationship with everyone except Tun. But yeah, I would love to have seen some ways within that 6 years of how, because Shiala was always reluctant to lead, never wanted to be queen, did not want to rule. Mum was queen. We found that in the second book. Balaam tries to manipulate that as well. It would be really cool because, you know, she had her hero moment. She was the hero of this series, even though it's between earth and sky. It's like, well, no, it's just all about sea, really. It's about her. It would have been cool to see what positive changes she's made as queen, or maybe not so positive. She was right all along. Would have been cool to know more about it. Vaden says Ictan and Pawage/Tinnies are both Bayeki and use she and Shia. Did we ever find out why Tinnies decided to be renamed as Pawagi? Nah, it was just to kind of keep that relationship a secret from the flashbacks. I would have preferred it to have been Pawagi the whole time, and then when you did the flashback when you first meet Pawagi, you'd be like, Colleen?
Well, no, it didn't explain that at all, but it is very typical to have more than one name. You have your name for friends. You might have a family name, and then you have a secret spirit name, or a secret name that you're given that you keep private from everyone. So having multiple names is very typical of a lot of native cultures.
K-Frida makes a great point. It's almost like the internet. People have monikers, they have pseudonyms, they have avatars, they have their own sort of particular handle. There are some people whose names I've actually never really known. I don't know what your proper name is. I only know what your handle is. I mean, I dated a guy for 6 months before I asked what his first name was, but that's very Australian culture. It was just last names exclusively. Turns out it was Mark. Did not look like a Mark to me. So that's what we're doing for the next 20 minutes. We are all going to decide on everyone's other name. And we have to be it's like a jury. It has to be unanimous. But everyone's going to get a second name. Guess he missed the mark. Boom tish. Maddie says, I have many secret names. Ooh, we love an air of mystery around here. I had this conversation with Maddie. I was going to change my name legally when I was 19 to Emmy, M-E-M-M-I-E. My name is Maude Elizabeth Garrett, M-E Garrett, and I hated Maude, and I thought Emmy would have been a much better name. And in hindsight, I should have fucking done it because I don't like the name Maude, and I hate Maude even more. And the Emmy goes to, yeah, I would not get sick of hearing that. I'd be like, hey, that's a good one. Because Emmy's a fun name. And Maddie said, Emmy's the kind of person you want to hang out with. And I'm like, well, what's Maude? And I was like, oh, Maude's the kind of person who will curse you. So both are cool. I like it. But what would everyone like there? Everyone pitch to me a second name. Because I'm running out of questions.
I always wanted my first name to be my dad's middle name.
What's that?
Because my middle name is my dad's first name, but my dad's middle name is Mitchell.
Okay, well, I was like, if that's an online security question, don't answer that. But I think it's mother's maiden name. So I don't want to hear anyone's mother's maiden names. But what's your dad's middle name?
I always thought Mitchell would be a cool name.
Mitchell's cool. Now, everyone, the jury.
Better than Tim.
Does Tim look like a Mitchell? Yes or no? Just give me thumbs. We are voting here. We all good for Mitchell? We got a bit of a maybe.
No.
Oh, there's some middle. Does everyone know Mitchell who's a shithead? Is that what's happening? Drew Viscoran says, we can't all see him. Maybe I'm trying to get more people to sign up to be members plus, huh? I'll just tell you the results. Tim looks like a B-26 bomber. So, yeah.
I appreciate that, Ken.
All right. Your name has been vetoed. You do not get a new name today. Colleen, what is your new name? I would like to.
I have no idea.
I was going to submit.
No idea.
So the first thing that came into my head was Dandelion. But that's.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Sunflower.
Oh, yes. Is that your favorite flower?
One of my granddaughters is kind of a sunflower, so I would be okay with that name.
All right. Colleen is her favorite flower. Your discretion. Darian's a great name. Do you just want to bite the bullet and become Dorian once and for all? You're muted?
The amount of times in my life people mix up my name for Damien and Darren, but you got
something bad to say about Darren?
No,
as a name?
It's just like it's people like see the spelling and they still say Darren. They see the spelling, they say Damien, but I'll stick with my name.
If anyone needs inspiration, what was the shittiest Starbucks name that's been written on your cup? Because that is now your name as well, which means I'm Mold. MOLD.
You know how you avoid that? Is you don't drink Starbucks.
I make a solid effort to not do that.
Especially now that I found out they donated to Heritage Foundation and Project 2025. Fuck Starbucks.
They donate to Israel as well.
I don't care about Israel that much, but Project 2025, fuck Starbucks.
All right. Well, I'm glad. Okay, so there you go. Starbucks. Yeah, they can bugger off. Actually, can I tell everyone my favorite Starbucks story? All right, because we've got time. In Australia, we are coffee snobs. We love good coffee. Good coffee. Emphasis on good coffee. We do not have pots of coffee. You know how here in the diner, it's like, did you want to get a coffee top up? And it's like, oh, thank you so much, Chris. You've joined the group. We got another one. It worked. Chris is going to be a member plus. Get your butt.
Did you just guilt True Scorn into joining Patreon?
No. Maud's World. So, Australia loves good coffee. We do not do pots of coffee. We do not do black coffee. It is espresso only. You can have a double shot of espresso. Long blacks are quite rare. It is espresso with milk, whether it's a flat white, whether it's a cappuccino or a latte. But that is coffee, right? Starbucks having a big boom in America where you have been so accustomed to shit coffee that Starbucks seems feasible. They decided to open something like 118 stores across Australia in a huge rollout. I believe it was around 2013, 2014. They were doing like CBDs, which is like your central district bureau, business districts, central business district. Yeah. So they were going to try and really utilize this coffee culture that Australia had and put them in like, congested areas and, on every block like it is in America. Within 12 months, 113 of the 118 stores shut down. Australia said no to Starbucks.
That's because Starbucks coffee is ass. And it's
we
it's
all
burnt 90%
said,
of the time.
nah, mate. Do you know what's happening to coffee culture in America? There are a few coffee companies, namely Bluestone Lane, which initially opened up in New York and is now in LA with like 5 different places. They are opening more and more and more. They are bringing Australian coffee to America and it's doing really well. Because now they're like, this is what coffee is supposed to taste like. And so hopefully Starbucks will no longer be reigning champions of American coffee because it's not good. Maude's quirk is persuasion. I've been joking about that. What did I say? Good things can happen from a persuasion superpower. Everyone's like, no, it's a form of manipulation. Is it?
I mean, it
Chris,
can be.
Yes.
I wouldn't use it that way ever.
Right.
Maude might be Coyote Clan.
Nuh-uh. You take that back. Okay, whatever. Hold on. Does everyone have their name yet? Does everyone have their new name? No, we stopped
at Darian.
Yeah.
Lisa, what's your new name? Felicity. KP Dubs, what's your new name?
I mean, Dubs is good. Or KP or whatever.
It's Kevin. Next. Jimmy, your new name? What is it?
Biscuits.
Love it. Actually, really good. Can we get a vote on 3, 2, 1?
That's very appropriate.
That's unanimous. Darren, new name. What is it?
I don't know. I guess maybe my middle name.
What's your middle name?
Mace.
Thumbs up on 3.
When I was in high school.
You really did? You were like, I want my middle name to be. Why would you just commit to the middle name?
Mom.
Why not go full bore like with Mace?
No, it was my I was originally born. My middle name was Matthew, which had no sort of family ties. And then when I was in high school, my mom approached me with the idea of changing it to Mace because that was my great grandfather's name, and so we did it.
And what year did prequels come out of Star Wars and Mace Windu was a hero as well? Because did that just correlate at the same time? I'm crunching numbers.
It would have been, I was a senior in high school, so it would have been 2001.
That's around the same time, no? The first one came out.
My great-grandfather definitely aged Star Wars prequels.
The timing's pretty cool, though. All right. We're voting on Mace in 3, 2, 1. Unanimous. Darren is now Mace. Robin?
Just reminded me of something.
New name, Robin?
I have no clue.
That's a terrible name.
I think it's Astro.
Astrid? What did you say?
Or Astra. Astra by Astra.
Astra?
Astra?
Robin with an I.
No.
Something like Greek goddess, sort of like
Diana.
Just whimsical.
Calypso.
Megara?
Bacchus.
No, something beautiful. You've got a very whimsical, sort of ethereal feel.
Calliope.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Cassiopeia?
Andromeda.
I thought that was Cassiopeia. Oh, Andromeda. That's cute too. I was thinking like a Seraphina kind of deal. If you know the book. Nymphadora. I love it.
Yeah, color.
Steph. New name. We've only just gotten used to this one.
First day here. We're going to change it.
So a few years ago, I joined roller derby and I had red hair. So I was Scarlet. So Scarlet?
That's badass.
We are all collectively nodding. Absolutely. We got another one! Jeff Murray's in the group now. Oh my God, Patreon's popping. This is so cool. Turns out if we don't talk about a book, people want to join. Okay, I'm going to read into that later. If you've just joined, I'm going to get you into the group right now. I just need to know, can you make me aware in the chat if you've joined in? If you're in the Discord, make me aware if you are True Scorn. Oh, I can hear you, True Scorn. True Scorn, can you say something in members? I'll upgrade you right now. I can do that on the spot. Oh no, it's already happened. You can jump in. You've been given your permissions. You're good to go, Chris. You're good to go. Get your butt in here. But Jeff, if you're watching this, can you please jump into the Discord and identify yourself, and I'll give you a new role. Georgie, I don't know if you're here watching this either, but we got shit to do. Where is community chat? Is there a Jeff here? All right, that's so cool. Guys, there's still more spaces if you would like to join members. Scarlett's a freaking rad name, by the way. I love Scarlett. Terry, you have had 19 different versions of your name over the years in book club. Which one would you like to stick with?
Well, my middle name is Eve.
You're not helping
Not
us.
spelled like Adam and Eve. It's a YVES. But my my preferred username when I play a game online is Uhtred.
Uhtred?
Yep.
We're voting for Uhtred. On 3. 1, 2, 3. We'll welcome you, Uhtred. Ut for short. Love it.
ISnoreToo is here.
It's ISnoreToo! Snozzy! Welcome to the members. This is what it looks like when we do the shows each time. That's why when I'm facing this way, I'm looking at this chat right here. How fun's that? If you have a microphone, oh, you're on your phone. You can pop your camera on it if you want. If not, totally fine. But if you've got a mic or a way to talk into the chat, feel free to drop on by, say hi. Hi, Chris. Welcome. Look how wonderful everyone is now. We shall call him Ut. And also, ISnoreToo, Vaden gifted you a sub an hour ago. So thank you, Vaden, for doing that and making ISnoreToo feel very, very welcome. ISnoreToo, am I able to just call you Usnore? Because I really hate the accusation that I'm making. It's bothering me, and I just would never. Oh, you've muted. If you want to unmute, you can say hi. Daz. That's not, Darren is saying my friends from the UK call me Daz. Daz is not just a UK thing. Daz is what you would be in Australia as well. Hey, we see you. Hi. Welcome. So,
hello.
Do we talk about the snoring now? How long's that been going on for? Yeah.
Sure, for a brief moment. I have sleep apnea. It kind of became a defining thing. I'm actually writing a play about it right now, but I do other things other than just snore. So that's where that name comes from.
You snore too, as well as other things. Has anyone called you out for saying that your handle, when someone else reads it, sounds like a confession?
No, that was a first.
Yay! So Snozzies, how did you discover Maude's book club?
I am how do I don't know. Long-time listener of Half Hour Happy Hour from long ago.
Way!
And then I don't know, other things, I guess. And I'm a big reader, so yeah. It was
What you been reading? What you been reading lately?
Oh boy. So I have a little book, like a 3-person book club with my friends, and we each pick a book. I read a book called Antibot. It was actually the most recent book that we read. My friend Liz chose. which is a really interesting book about AI robots, I guess.
Yeah. So sci-fi, good stuff.
So, yeah, it's near future sci-fi. So that, and then I read a lot of poetry. So Sylvia Plath and other things has been recent.
Wonderful.
Kind of all over the place.
With that book in mind, how fucked are we with AI?
So that book was interesting because it's more about Antibot is is the main character, and she's a sentient AI robot that is owned, quote unquote, by a guy, and yeah, it's about kind of her experience of being sentient as a piece of property. And so it's a messed up book, but it's entertaining, I guess.
I can't wait until the day where I tell everyone that I'm actually AI, and I have been this whole time. Won't be today though. Not today, but when I do, watch out. Sounds like Murderbot from a few months ago, says Brush Kid. It does. Murderbot, we love Murderbot around here as a book series. Welcome to the Discord. Now, Chris, you said that you're not quite set up to with the microphone and the video just yet, but you're going to hopefully have it all set up for Recursion. I'm glad you brought that up. And Snores, thanks for talking about sci-fi as well. Our next book that we're going to be doing next week, Blake Crouch, Recursion. Now, when Nerdist Book Club was a thing going on until the end of 2022, we did Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, which is turning into I believe it's a Apple TV show. Is it on Apple TV? That book was fantastic. I think Blake Crouch writes incredible sci-fi in like a, take your pick of which beast to explore, whether it's time travel, whether it's multiverse, whether it's genetic modifications. I have really, really fell in love with a lot of his books. I think some of you have started already, and I believe Avery was just saying that she's moments away from having an existential spiral. If these books don't make you have a real think about your place in life, the world, where we're going, then he's not done his job well. The thing is, spoiler, he has done his job well, and this book is going to absolutely make your brain collapse, which is so fun. So, yeah, Tay is in here going, I'm ready to talk about Recursion. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's the kind of book where if you start now, we'll be absolutely ready to go in time for next week. I believe we are doing... What are we doing? When's next week's? It's not on Thursday because I'm going to be doing the Deadpool versus Wolverine event, LA premiere. When is it? Shit. When is it?
You had it set for the 1st, which is Thursday, so.
But early, no?
That might have been it.
Earlier?
Yeah, I think it was early, isn't it?
Nope, Terry's saying it's 5 o'clock. No, it's not. I'm here to tell you right now it's not. Wait. Next week.
Isn't Deadpool tomorrow?
Thursday.
Deadpool opens this week.
And then it's San Diego Comic-Con. Oh, no, next. Oh, do you know what is going to be fucked up, though? I'm getting my wisdom teeth extracted 2 days before that.
That's fine. You can mumble your way through Recursion.
We're not doing that, are we?
That's up to you.
It's just
remember?
It's just the top two. She'll be right, mate. She'll be right, mate.
I had a root canal and drove to work afterwards.
Maddie's learning in real time in the comments what it's like to work for me. This is my rendition of her breakdown. What do you mean it's Thursday? What do you mean it's not Thursday? What do you mean it's not Thursday? What do you mean, Maude? What do you mean? I got the dates mixed up. I thought it was this Thursday. I'm talking about, which is why we moved this one. So Mirrored Heavens was supposed to be this Thursday, but we moved it to Tuesday because I cannot do this Thursday. So next Thursday is absolutely fine. I will just have my top 2 wisdom teeth removed 2 days prior. So hold on to your butts because that might need to change. We'll see. We'll see. Could everyone please pour one out for Maddie, who I believe now has her first grey hair, just experiencing being in my stratosphere.
Maddie just got her first Maude's Book Club baptism. Is that what we're saying?
These are real tears. These are real tears.
Officially part of the group now.
Yikes! We do book club and panic. We do book clubs and panic. I thought Maude said pull one out, like pull a tooth out in support. This really is a cult. Yeah. Pull one out for Maddie, everyone, and put your teeth in the jar and then pass the jar around and we'll collect all the teeth.
Absolutely.
New achievement.
Can we please do Dungeon Crawler Carl next month? We'll chat about it after the show for a second.
Again.
Anyway, we're reading Recursion. Get started. It's by Blake Crouch. This is not a part 1, part 2. We are going full spoiler for the book. But the good news is if you jump on Fable, it's a free app that you can download and follow not only Maude's book club, but Maude's bonus book club. Here we'll do a book each month where chapter by chapter, there'll be a breakdown. Once you've read the chapter, you can jump on the app and talk about what's happened in said chapter. A lot of the time we noticed that a part 1 was really important when reading a book, just to have that communal check-in halfway through to discuss the points, the themes, our progress with it, our struggles with it, to try and get on the same page a little bit better, to increase or decrease our enjoyment for the rest of the book. I feel like Fable is a good buffer for not having a part 1 discussion. Next month, not September. We are doing Recursion, which is this month's book, in the beginning of August. So we will have another book in August. Did we lock in the bonus book for Dresden? I keep locking in books and people keep reading ahead and then I'm like, psych, I want to change it. So I've got to stop doing that. But if you're a member, then you help vote and lock in with me. And then if we've locked it in as a group, I can't change it. I can hear Maddie hyperventilating. You just know they are right now. Just like, why are you doing this to me? It's not because I want to. It's because I can. No. I'm kidding about that as well. Oh, Adam decided to show up.
Vision sends his regards.
How can you not respect that? He just dropped by. Used my soundbite as his identifier and left. That's great. Adam, I adore you. All right. Maddie has said, I've just started drinking straight vodka. Wow. Fantastic. Baz, lovely to have you in here as well. Did you read the book?
Hello?
Did you read the book?
I did not know. I came here to say hello.
Hi. I love that. All right. Well, I'm going to go say hi to our new members as well. Don't forget, if you want to be a Members Plus, 2 people just did it, so you see how easy it is. Join on patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. You can be a Member Plus, where you get access to the book club streams in that chat there. We do a little hangout before. And then we also have a gaming stream, and that's what you signed up for, Snores. So when I play video games, it's communal games. We've been throwing some game options around. I've been playing a lot of Stardew at the moment, which I think cozy gaming is the way of the future. But we also might be playing some Helldivers because that's what Baz wants to do. We might be playing some Minecraft because that's what Robin and Maddie want to do. We've got options to play some games each month throughout the year as well. So you can join up for that tier 2. Also, merch. There's free cool merch. We're posting some photos on the Patreon. If you haven't joined the Discord, please do it now. You just click a button. You don't even ever have to be in there. Like, we're trying to hit 2,000. We just want to hit 2,000. It's like around the corner. I'm like, oh, I see it. It's just there. And a click of the button is the way to help with that. In fact, if you do it right now, I will give you a shout out. You have 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds to click the link in the chat to join the Discord where I will say your name. You have 50 seconds to click the link in the chat so you can join the Discord so I can say your name and shout you out. 2,000. We could almost buy our own ship for that. The year 2000. 2,000 in a Discord sounds cool, no? 2,000. My favorite part is that there are 91 people watching right now. And I'm like making such an emphasis that this is going to happen and no one's done it. Like that is special to me. That is something that I'm choosing to not see as a failure. But a game of chicken or
I mean, you can see it as a success. Maybe everyone's already joined.
A challenge. Maddie's saying, Maude, I have no money. That's not true. I pay you. And also you're in the Discord. So 86 of us watching are already in. Yes, true. Great point. Everyone's already done the homework. You can't join something that you're already in. I get it. It would just be really cool if like one person joined the Discord now. Or now. And that was a really nice touch. All right, hold on. I'm going to try one more thing. Do not join the Discord. Don't you dare join the fucking Discord. Don't you do it. Don't join it. I don't want you in here. I don't want you to click the link and join the Discord. In fact, if you join in here, I will say your name in disgust.
Robin, it's not a fun time.
Do you know what? There's also like an ad break right now. So I'm talking to like 12 people and that's it. And 11 of those are Tim. Maddie says, well, now I'm tempted. All right. Well, I try. Vanessa says, don't tell me what to do. Joe's supposed to say, I bet you can't join. Haha. Haha. Baden's like, look, I was thinking of making a new account and then I just like got lazy. You know what though? You thought about it and that was sweet. All right, well, forget that idea. We'll be back next week. Let's read Recursion together. I'm going to hang out with members plus. Bye, everyone. Do we want to raid? You don't get to raid. You didn't join the Discord.
Anybody you raid is going to quit as soon as you get in there.
No, why do I have such a talent for doing that? Should we raid anyone? Steph Wood. Oh, she's playing. Okay, I like that. Thank you. Steph Woodburn is playing Baldur's Gate 3. Did it work?
She also had a really good D&D play recently. Yeah.
Yes, with Whitney and Hector and Amy Vorpal.
Yep.
That keyboard comes in loud and clear. How cool does it sound? Baz, did you get new headphones? They are sick. Sorry, I'll wait for the after show. Clack, clack, clack. Everyone's like, clack, clack, clack. Great, cool. All right, bye, everyone. Not one single person joined the fucking Discord. It's so easy. It's so easy to do it. That's fine. I'm not taking it personally. Everything's fine. Hi, new members. Yeah.
Hello. Do we need to pitch the Book Rex doc to the new members as well?
Absolutely. All right, so let's do a little induction now that we